Prosecutors seek to extend the detention of President Yoon until February 6, as they launch their investigation into charges of insurrection made against him, which was handed over to them by the CIO. They could visit the detained president this weekend for questioning. U.S. President Donald Trump insinuated resuming summit diplomacy with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, saying he would reach out to Kim in a recent interview. Mass travel begins in Korea on this Friday evening as an extended Lunar New Year holiday starts this weekend. It's January 24th, 8 p.m. in Seoul. This is Newscenter. Thank you for joining us. I'm Yoon Jung-min. We start with the prosecution's probe into allegations of insurrection by the president in light of his short-lived martial law on the night of December 3rd. For details, I have our Choi Min-jung standing by live at the prosecutor's office here in Seoul. Min-jung, prosecutors are seeking to further extend the president's detention.
Right, Jung-min, the prosecution does not have much time with the detention deadline approaching as early as the 26th of January. And because of the tight schedule, we learned just a few hours ago that the investigation team had already requested with the Seoul Central District Court yesterday an extension of President Yoon's detention until February 6th. If approved, that would allow more time for the prosecutors to investigate. Under such a plan, the prosecution is expected to make every effort to interrogate President Yoon. They also plan to continue the investigation throughout the weekend and even during the upcoming Lunar New Year holiday. Considering past cases of former presidents who were detained, prosecutors will likely visit President Yoon at the Seoul Detention Center for questioning rather than summoning him to the prosecution office, due to security and confidentiality concerns. Previously, when former presidents Chun Do-han, Roh Tae-woo, Park Geun-hye, and Lee Myung-bak were detained, the prosecution conducted their investigations at the prison. The prosecution is reportedly only willing to question Yoon in person given the gravity of the case.
And what has been the response from his defense team?
Right, the question is whether Yoon will respond to the prosecution's investigation. But given his team's latest response, they appear unlikely to cooperate. Around an hour ago, Yoon's legal team released a statement criticizing the prosecution's handling of the situation. It argued that the prosecution should cancel the president's detention and wait for the impeachment trial to proceed. The statement stressed that keeping the president in detention could interfere with the impeachment process. The team also stated that the prosecution should disregard the illegal investigation conducted by the CIO and start a fresh investigation. Hours ago, Yoon's lawyers Yoon Gov't and Kim Jong-un briefly stopped by and told reporters that they came to convey their thoughts to the prosecution. Though exact details were not revealed, they may have discussed scheduling coordination with the investigators. But just to give you a brief background, the prosecution's special investigation team took the case back yesterday after the anti-corruption agency formally requested that the prosecution take over the investigation. The case was handed over earlier than planned due to President Yoon's refusal to cooperate with the CIO. That's all I have for now. Back to you, Jung-min.
All right, Min-jung, thank you for the latest. Moving on, Korea is looking ahead to an extended Lunar New Year holiday starting this weekend. For those seeking an early start to the journey back to their hometowns for Seollal celebrations with family and friends, today is travel day. Our correspondent Song Yoo-jin joins us live from a major transport hub here in Seoul. Happy holiday, Yoo-jin. What is the latest on the hustle and bustle where you are?
Well, happy holiday to you too, Jung-min, from Seoul Station, which is the busiest train station here in Korea. Now, as you mentioned, today is the eve of the 6-day-long Seollal, or Korean Lunar New Year holiday, which is one of the two major holidays here in the country, with the other being Chuseok, often called Korean Thanksgiving. So our team, we've been out here for almost 5 hours now, and I've been seeing the station becoming more increasingly crowded, especially after 6 p.m. We saw a significant influx of travelers coming here to the station, which is the time most people will have finished work. So if we look at some data, according to the latest data from the country's state-run railway operator Korea, more than 76% of nearly 340,000 available train tickets from this train station have already been booked as of 3 p.m. And in fact, we're still seeing more and more notices on the big screens here that some trains are sold out, which really shows the holiday travel rush. And earlier, I spoke with some travelers about how excited they are for the upcoming holiday. Take a listen.
I want to relax with my family. I've been quite busy leading up to this holiday, so I want to visit cafes and travel with them.
Right now, I'm living with a host family, so I'm thinking maybe with my host family, maybe we'll make some like tteokguk, or I think maybe we may vacation a little bit outside of Seoul, maybe to Everland. I'll see what happens. But I also have some friends here, so I think I may hang out with them as well.
I haven't been able to visit my grandmother for quite a while because I've been preparing for a new job. I'm going to meet her and tell her I'll do my best.
The holiday is so long that I'm a bit worried about how to spend all that time with my daughter, but I think she'll be really happy to see her grandparents after such a long time.
Happy holiday plans. Now let's talk about numbers. How many people are projected to travel and when would be ideal?
Right, so ahead of every Seollal holiday season, the Transport Ministry announces what it calls a Special Transportation Measures Period. And this year, this period spans 10 days, starting from today up until next Sunday, which is February 2nd. And this could be because if you take next Friday, which is January 31st off, that means you get to enjoy a 9-day long break. So during this 10-day period, the Korea Transport Institute estimates that around 34 million people will take to the roads, skies, and other forms of transport. And that's an increase of nearly 8 million compared to last year when the transportation period was just 5 days. And the Institute predicts that Seollal Day itself, which is next Wednesday, will be the busiest in terms of volume with approximately 6 million people traveling. But it seems that the days just before and after Seollal Day will also be difficult to move, as an online survey conducted by this institute shows that Tuesday morning is the most preferred time for starting trips, while Thursday afternoon is expected to be the most popular time for returning home. So to help ease the burden for travelers, motorway tolls will be lifted from Monday to Thursday, and discounts will be offered for train tickets and snacks at highway rest stops. So if you're planning your schedule this holiday season, keep this in mind.
And Eugene, as our culture correspondent, I hear you have a special recommendation for those passing through Seoul Station.
Right, so just a short walk from here is the old Seoul Station building, which first opened in 1925. Now that area has been operated as a railroad station until 2003, but then it reopened in 2011 with a new name called Culture Station Seoul 284 as a space for exhibitions, performances, and workshops. And currently, 2 exhibitions are being held there, all with no admission charge. They're completely free. So if you're around this area during this holiday season, it's definitely worth checking out. Or if you don't have the time, you can tune into my full report, which will air next Tuesday, just ahead of Seollal. That's all I have for now. Back to you, Jungmin.
Thanks for the info. That was our Song Yujin live from Seoul Station. Meanwhile, lawmakers across the aisle also made their way to major bus and train stations on this Friday here in Seoul to meet with travelers as they head home for the Lunar New Year holiday. Members of the ruling People Power Party were at Seoul Station, while their counterparts, the main opposition Democratic Party, were at Seoul Express Bus Terminal. During their brief interactions with members of the public, rival lawmakers pledged to promote issues related to the cost of living for ordinary people. With the holiday just around the corner, the authorities are making sure that the emergency medical system is managed in a stable manner. Our Park Go-nu has more.
Efforts to stabilize the emergency medical system are underway. During a central disaster meeting on Friday, Acting President Choi Sang-mok emphasized that stabilizing the system during the upcoming Seollal holidays was crucial.
The government and local authorities will focus their efforts on ensuring the smooth implementation of special measures to maintain the emergency medical system, so people can spend the holidays peacefully.
This comes after the emergency medical response period was set for 2 weeks from January 22nd to cover the holidays. Choi said all domestic emergency medical facilities are being monitored around the clock, with medical officers dispatched. He also stressed that every effort will be made to provide specialized care for high-risk pregnant women, nighttime pediatric care, and other special conditions. Choi also urged that emergency rooms be prioritized for those who are in real need.
If you have an urgent problem, call 119. If not, please visit a local clinic or small to medium-sized hospital emergency room first.
The government said more hospitals will be open during the holidays, up by over 360% from last year's Seollal holidays. The National Fire Agency will also increase its emergency personnel and medical consultations beyond normal levels. Korean nationals living abroad or traveling can also receive consultations through the agency's internet or social media channels. The health authorities advise caution regarding respiratory diseases during the holidays, even though the flu season peak has passed. The Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency said people should follow infectious disease prevention measures, including maintaining hygiene and ventilation, and especially high-risk groups should get vaccinated as the flu season continues. Park Gun-woo, Arirang News.
U.S. President Donald Trump has expressed a willingness to reinitiate talks with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, calling him smart. This has sparked renewed attention to Pyongyang-Washington relations. Our correspondent Kim Jong-sil reports.
U.S. President Donald Trump has reignited discussions on North Korea, revealing plans to resume diplomatic talks with Kim Jong-un. Take a listen to his interview with Fox News on Thursday.
He happens to be a smart guy. Kim Jong-un is a smart guy.
You'll reach out to him again?
I will.
This comment came just days after Trump referred to North Korea as a nuclear power.
We got along very well. They thought that was a tremendous threat. Now he is a nuclear power, but we got along. I think he'll be happy to see him coming back.
Trump's remarks suggest a desire to restart diplomatic efforts even while North Korea's advancing nuclear capabilities remain a critical concern. Experts predict that the threat of the North will continue to be a major focus of global security in the coming years.
Most people are of the mind that North Korea, the threat from North Korea, will really become front and center in the next 4 years.
Kim isn't the only leader Trump called smart. He also praised Russian President Vladimir Putin, claiming again that the invasion of Ukraine would never have happened under his leadership.
Never. By the way, Russia never would have gone into Ukraine. I had a very strong understanding with Putin. He's smart, he understands, he disrespected Biden.
Trump's comments highlight the shifting geopolitical landscape, with Russia's growing ties to North Korea complicating U.S. foreign policy. For South Korea, these developments are critical. Ambassador Cho Yeon-dong told reporters in Washington, D.C. on Thursday that Seoul was closely communicating with key members of the Trump administration. Cho noted that the ongoing cooperation between the two countries, particularly on security issues and North Korea's denuclearization, remains a priority. As the world watches closely, South Korea is poised to navigate these changes carefully with a keen eye on maintaining stability on the Korean peninsula. Kim Jong-sil, Arirang News.
While there is no indication of an imminent provocation, North Korea looks to be prepared for an intercontinental ballistic missile launch or a satellite mission at any time. Our defense correspondent Kim Bo-kyung reports.
No immediate signs of North Korean missile launches have been detected since Trump's inauguration, but preparations for a spy satellite or an ICBM continue. This is the recent assessment made by the Joint Chiefs of Staff on North Korea released on Friday. Regarding Pyongyang's potential missile launches, the regime had earlier this month already fired 2 missiles before Trump was sworn in as the new U.S. president. And the JCS says the North appears to be ready to launch short-range ballistic and cruise missiles at any time. Yet, as Trump has delivered a message to resume talks, one expert says it is unlikely that Pyongyang will be highly provocative.
In response to President Trump's conciliatory message, it is unlikely that North Korea will conduct a high-intensity display of force, such as an ICBM launch.
Meanwhile, Pyongyang has been dismantling and removing the materials from the Kaesong Industrial Complex's Comprehensive Support Center for over a month, since mid-December last year. Considering that North Korea had shown similar activities before demolishing the Inter-Korean Liaison Office in June 2020, the same expert again says the possibility of utterly blowing up the complex would take some time.
North Korea has already dismantled symbolic South Korean buildings and facilities in the Kumgangsan mountain area and destroyed the Inter-Korean Liaison Office. Given that it is unclear what benefit would come from destroying the Kaesong Industrial Complex, they could dismantle, but it would take time to demolish.
When it comes to North Korea sending troops to Russia, the South's military expects Pyongyang to accelerate preparations for additional deployments, with around 4 months already having passed since the first troop deployment. It is likely, given the fact that the battle nearing its end could get fierce, but the experts said the relationship between Russia and the U.S. could bring a change in Kim Jong-un's decision. Kim Bo-kyung, Arirang News.
Elsewhere, in his first address to a global audience following his return to the White House, President Trump called on companies worldwide to make their products in America or face hefty tariffs. Moon Hye-ryun explains.
Come make your product in America, and we will give you among the lowest taxes of any nation on earth.
U.S. President Donald Trump emphasized his stance on tariffs once again in front of the global elite at the annual World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, as he followed up his push to bring manufacturing into the U.S. with a threat to impose levies for foreign goods.
But if you don't make your product in America, which is your prerogative, then very simply you will have to pay a tariff.
Speaking in a video call on Thursday at his first major appearance since his inauguration earlier this week, Trump went on to describe how these tariffs will add up to trillions of dollars to strengthen the U.S. economy. This follows an earlier announcement that he plans to impose tariffs of 25% on Mexico and Canada starting February, alongside a 10% tariff for China. During the rest of his 45-minute speech, he went on to lay out more of his vision for the U.S. economy, which includes lowering the corporate tax to 15% from the current 21%, lowering energy costs by pressuring OPEC, and lowering interest rates in turn. And in a panel discussion following his speech, he addressed the European Union for its substantial trade imbalance with the United States and condemned their regulatory actions against American tech giants such as Apple, Google, and Facebook. His comments spurred a chain of reactions. Oil prices fell, the greenback showed fluctuations, and U.S. stocks rose. It also inspired commentary from attendees, who called for a measured response to Trump's tariff policies, cautioning against hasty retaliatory actions. The Director General of the World Trade Organization called for careful analysis to examine the economic impact to gauge whether they are excessive, and warned that retaliatory tariffs can have disastrous effects on the global economy. The European Union's Economic Commissioner echoed this sentiment, while some attendees showed a more nuanced understanding of Trump's approach to tariffs by viewing it as a bargaining tool. Trump also advocated for a reduction in nuclear arms and urged for global cooperation at the forum, stating that he had discussed the matter with Russian President Vladimir Putin prior to the 2020 U.S. presidential election. He revealed that Putin had been receptive to the idea of nuclear disarmament and that China would have joined the initiative, warning that Beijing is rapidly expanding its nuclear arsenal and could catch up with the U.S. in a few years. Moon Hye-ryun, Arirang News.
A number of Buddhist temples in Korea are offering unique overnight experiences to coincide with the Lunar New Year holiday. Our Yoon has a glimpse.
A unique sanctuary nestled in the heart of Seoul City, Gov't Temple is offering a special temple stay for the first time during the Seollal holidays, so participants can experience the holiday's traditions.
At Gov't, we introduced dumpling making as part of our temple stay program to bring back traditional holiday customs. Nowadays, with more people living in nuclear families or traveling abroad, it's hard to experience the warmth and togetherness of the holidays. We wanted to create a space where families or individuals spending the holidays alone could come together, even for just one night.
Monk Sunhae shared that through activities like making dumplings, eating rice cakes, and sharing tea, she hopes to foster a warm sense of family and connection. This is the purpose behind many special programs, including a Lunar New Year ceremony and folk games. The cultural core of Korean Buddhism is hosting the Seollal Temple Stay at over 20 temples nationwide from January 22nd to January 30th.
I came here to clear my mind because I've been feeling stressed at work.
I'm having a lot of fun. It's my first time making dumplings and I'm really enjoying it.
Events like this bring out each person's unique personality. Some participants express their New Year's wishes through the dumplings they made.
This dumpling is called the sun dumpling. I made it to symbolize the rising sun of the new year, wishing for a bright year ahead.
To start the new year meaningfully, we decided to join a temple stay before the semester begins.
As they taste the dumplings they've made, along with healthy, vegetarian, and environmentally friendly temple food, participants gain a deeper appreciation for the effort that went into preparing these dishes. No Seollal celebration is complete without enjoying a bowl of tteokguk or rice cake soup. From preparation to consumption, every step in the temple is a daily practice. Practicing the performing of 108 vows, which symbolizes the purification of 108 temptations, participants have time to reflect. The evening at the Gov't Temple is the perfect time to focus on the present moment. This Seollal holiday, why not take a break from your smartphone and immerse yourself into seasonal traditions by experiencing a temple stay with friends or family. Yoon, Arirang News.
Seoul has weather like early spring today. Also ahead of the holiday, most of the fine dust has cleared. These clear and warm conditions will continue throughout the weekend. There has been rain or snow from the afternoon along the East Coast. It will relieve the dryness of the atmosphere. As for the snowfall, up to 15 centimeters of snow is forecast in the mountainous areas of Gangwon-do province by tomorrow. There's a possibility of heavy snow advisories in this area. Up to 5 centimeters of snow is expected on the east coast of Gangwon-do and the mountainous areas of northeastern Gyeongsang-buk-do province. Tomorrow, Daejeon will start off at -2 degrees Celsius, Busan 5 degrees. Daily highs will move up to around 10 degrees in most parts of the country tomorrow. On next Monday and Tuesday, more rain and snow is forecast all over the country. That's all for Korea. Here are the weather conditions around the world. That does it for us at this hour. Thank you for watching. Newscenter will be back next Friday after the Lunar New Year break. But more news will be coming up on Monday at noon Korea time. Happy holidays.